Hello and welcome to the Pro Am Formula Racing League. It's the Division Sprint Championship. Round 10 that takes us to the Sochi Autodrome in Russia, the latest chapter in this championship. There are 7 rounds to go, including this one. 18-minute qualifying, followed by a 25% distance race, which will be 13 laps. The same as what it was in Monza. Looking at the championship standings after 9 rounds, and it's Vengeance who won last time out, which was his 5th of the season. He has a 65-point lead over his nearest rival Fletch in the championship, and then Kilmore in 3rd place, a further 7 points adrift. So it looks like Vengeance's championship's leads at the moment. He's more than 2 full rounds ahead. You get a point for qualifying on pole, as well as getting a point for the fastest lap. So much you can score in a round is 27. So just waiting for some cars to make their way out onto the circuit. Quinton is one of them. There's his AlphaTauri teammate, Vintage is going out as well. He's on the medium compound, so I think both of them may be on the medium compound. No, in fact, Quinton's on the soft, so we should be seeing a flood of activity on the circuit. We've got McLaren heading out as well. That'll be Jace. And then behind him is one of the Hasses. That is Kenga. In front of him is an Aston Martin. I think that may be Rishi, is it? Who's out on track? No, it's Chromad who's on the circuit. There's Sethi right behind. And there's the other Hass as well of Swan. Or DTS Swan. So we've seen most of the drivers on circuit now. So we'll go back to the first couple of drivers who went out on circuit. We see Vintage has gone through turn 10 now. So at the moment we have got a total, what I believe is 15 drivers on circuit. That's how many I'm counting right now. You can see one of the Red Bulls heading out. That'll be Aaron in the Red Bull. It may be Fletch actually, because both Red Bulls are in the garage. I think both of them may be heading out on track now. We need to watch out for Vintage though. He's just starting his flying lap now. Rear wing open. Fletch stays out of the way, which is good to see. Vintage brakes for turn 1, or turn 2 I should say, because the first turn is the right hand kink after the pit straight. So Vintage head towards turn 4. It wasn't the best line that he took there, it was rather cautious. I think he's focusing more on trying to get a banker lap in. Turn 5, carrying a little bit too much speed there, maybe a bit too deep and a bit too late on the brakes. Through the kink of 6, and you want to be on the outside for turn 7, that's not too bad. Probably needs to go a little bit more aggressive next time. And turn 8, oh, it looked like he exceeded track limits there, but got away with it. Through turn 10. The thing is, he's hitting the apexes, but he's not hitting them as aggressively as he needs to. Through 2 kinks of 11 and 12, and then the next braking zone is 13. You brake before the 100 metre board. He's dropped down to second gear through that. Now up to third through the sweeping left-hander of 14, and then an off-camber corner of 15. And then turn 16 is a right-handed part of that left-right chicane. Turn 17 and 18 are right-handers as well. And Vintage going over the line, and it's a 1:33.1 for him. So we'll go to his teammate, Quinton, who was on a flying lap as well, but he's exceeded track limits. So we will go to, look to see who else is on a flying lap at the moment. I think, is it Hervina who's on the flying lap? Well, Aaron's just gone over the line to start a flying lap now. There's one of the Williams going over the line to start a flying lap. Jays goes fastest on a 1:31.8 on the soft compound. Chroma goes third on a 1:34.0. He's lost a lot of time somewhere. We'll go to Kilmore. Third in the championship going into this event. He had a race to forget really at Monza last week. And the P12 he ended up no points. And with championship leader Vengeance picking up the race victory, he's fallen a long way behind going into today's race. So we've got 2 Hasses in the top 3, Swan going second on a 1:32.0, and John less than 200ths of a second shy of his teammate in 4th now, because John has displaced him. Well, in fact, Kenga is actually 600ths off his teammate, or 700ths. John goes third on a 1:32.0. Now here's Aaron, 4th in the championship coming into this event. On the podium last week at Monza, you can see there the Honda Farewell one-off livery Red Bull, which I believe is available for the next month or so on this game. I have to say, it looks absolutely fascinating. It looks absolutely amazing. And very touching from Red Bull to say goodbye to Honda at the end of the season. Havina goes 6th on a 1:32.1, so we've got drivers from Swan in 2nd to Havina in 6th, separated by less than 1.5 tenths. So adds up has just gone for a fast lap now. Luke Rochford in the Alfa Romeo coming into turn 13. Luke goes into this round currently 16th. Picked up his first points of the season 7 days ago at Monza. This looks like a decent lap here, actually. And it's decent enough to put him on the front row for now. Less than 0.04 of a second shy of Jays' provisional pole position time. Now adds up has yet to get a lap on the board. He's had a race to forget at Monza. Crashed out, unfortunately. Redemption time for him. Adds up currently on 25 points. In 10th. So adds up coming towards turns 17 and 18. There's a Red Bull in front of him. Should stay out of the way though. Aaron is going over the line to start another lap. Adds up goes fastest on a 1:31.5. So it's McLaren 1 and 2 at the present moment. We've still got a few drivers yet to set a fast time in this session. And Havina has crashed out on circuit by the looks of things. Not sure what's happened there. He's crashed out on, well, coming towards turn 2, so Havina is not going to set a faster lap time than what he's already set, so that's his session over. Now Quinton, rear wing open. Quinton, who's been a regular reserve driver this season, he is the highest of all the reserve drivers. He has 52 points, which includes the fastest lap. I'm just looking to see his best finish, actually. He finished 2nd in Spa. Yeah, so 2nd has been his best finish of the season. I think he did well in Barcelona actually as well. He finished 2nd in Barcelona. So 2 second place finishes he's already got this season, and he's gone to provisional pole position here with a 1:31.3, more than 2 tenths faster than adds up. Vengeance, the championship leader, out on circuit now. He's just begun a flying lap. He's one of 3 drivers yet to post the time. Less than 9 minutes to go. The man who's been on pole 7 times from the 9 races this season. Bear in mind, the 2 races that he wasn't on pole were the races that he actually missed due to a problem with his thumb that he jammed in a door or something like that, which made him unfit to be racing. The Vengeance looking in hot form at the moment. There's the Mercedes of Smith ahead of him, who needs to get out of the way here. And he does so right now. So Vengeance gets through without a problem. Nailing the apexes of 15 and 16 nicely. And now he will be going towards turn 17 over the curbs. Got on the power maybe a bit too early, but caught it in the end. And he goes to pole position by nearly half a tenth there. So Vengeance on provisional pole position. Can anyone beat that? We'll go on board with Steffi because he's one of only 2 drivers now yet to post a lap time. And Jace has gone back to provisional pole position with 1:31.1, so that's a very good time from him. Jace, who's making his first appearance this season. Steph goes up to 5th with 1:31.6. It's not bad for a first effort, actually. ZHR is on a flying lap as well. Kenga spun into the wall and he's wrecked his Haas, and that is his session over. So Kenga will not be setting a better time than what he's already set. He'll start 9th or lower. ZHR coming towards Sector 2 now, a quarter of a second up from before. He's only 19th at the moment. Kilmore only 18th as well, so he's got his work cut out in the remaining minutes of quali. So ZHR over the line, and he improves up to 17th. So he's gained a couple of positions. He's gained a couple of positions there, but he's still some way off from where he needs to be. Here's Vintage, who's on a flying lap in the Alpha Tauri. Now they've got one of the McLarens going over the line while Jason's coming into the pits, actually, and Seffi's doing the same. So we'll go back to Vintage, actually, because he's the next one who's on a fast lap. Doing very well on this one, actually. He's looking very good to at least get into the top 12 here, but I reckon he'll end up being higher than that by the session's end. Vintage through turn 17 and now 18. Over the line he comes, and it's only good enough for P12. So Vintage improving his time by 7/10. Rishi's on a good lap in the Aston Martin. This won't put him fastest, but it's good enough to put him up to 5th on a 1:31.6. So Aaron over the line, and there's an Alfa Romeo as well of Luke Rochford. You may get a tow from him on the pit straight, if he's lucky. Cromad on a faster lap time from before. Up to 13th he goes. ZHR also on a fast lap. He goes up to 12th. So that's quite a big improvement. 8.5 cents faster than what he had set beforehand. Who else is coming over the line? Well, John's coming to start a fast lap. Now we'll go to Kilmore because he's in desperate need of a faster lap time. He does improve his lap time by 9 tenths, but only good enough for 17th. And now down to 18th place. So Kilmore's got his work cut out. He's behind his teammate. Now Kermit could send him down the order here. He's on a 1:33.3 with the lap time that he set before, but this is much quicker. 1:32.9. He stays 19th. Now Fletcher's the only driver who has yet to post a fast lap time. Now Smith has gone 9th fastest with a 1:32.0. Here's Quinton, twice a podium finisher this season. Coming into turns 13 and 14, he's 2 tenths down from before, so it's not looking as though he will improve his lap time. He may decide to come into the pits actually and get another set of soft compound tyres on. Yep, that's exactly what he's going to be doing. He's got enough time. Now King is a 10th up from before through sector 2. He's going too deep there into turn 16, so that will cost him some time. Now he needs to be aggressive through 17 and 18 here. Missed the apex slightly through that. 18 was better, and he only improves by 300ths. Stays 17th. So who's on the flying lap then? Well, Aaron has gone through sector 1, but he's way off from where he needs to be. So if I was him, I'd just save the battery, and I think that's what he's doing. So now King has gone for one last attempt, I would think. Through sector 1. He's a quarter of a second up from before. Coming into turn 7. Not too bad on entry. Was he like through 8? Nicely done through there. So I think this is going to be a much better lap time here from King. DRS open on this back straight. What's his time like through sector 2? 3/10 up from before, so he's looking at around 13th position, I would imagine, unless he can find a heap of time in the final sector. So King in the Alpine, coming towards the start-finish line. And his lap time is a 1:32.1, and it's good enough to put him in 11th place. And the good news for him is that he would have a free choice of what tyres to start the race on. Here is Swan in the Haas, improves to 9th on a 1:31.9. He improved by over a 10th from before. Vengeance goes fastest though for Williams on a 1:30.6. That's over half a second quicker than Jace in second position. Well, Adsup has just started his final attempt. Jace has started his final attempt now. And Fletcher's about to start his final attempt now in the Red Bull. He's got an Aston Martin behind him as well. That is Rishi. Needs to be careful he doesn't hold him up. Luke has started his final attempt. Who else is coming around to the finish line now? Well, Cromwell is going over the line. John has gone over the line. Looks like one of the AlphaTauris is going to be going over the line now. That's Quinton. And the checker flag has fallen, so Quinton got over the line in time. And Happy Kilmore is not going to reach the checker flag in time because he's stuck in the pits. So Kilmore will only start 18th on the grid. Sorry. So we'll go to Adds Up, who is 200s up by sector 2. Over the line, he exceeded chuck limits over the line, and he's wrecked his car. So at least it's over the line anyway. It's not going to hinder any other driver because the checker flag is out. One of the Ferraris is coming through now. That's Kermit, I think, who's just going over the line, but he is not going to improve his time. Fletcher's made it. Oh, and Fletch has come together with the Aston Martin there. Now, I'm not sure what's been going on there, but Fletch should not be doing that. Things are getting messy out there on circuit at the moment between these guys. Oh, that's naughty. Fletch should not be doing that. This is really poor behaviour from these two drivers. Yeah, I think the stewards will be having words with those two, most certainly. And Fletcher's been given a 5-place grid penalty, which is hardly relevant because he started in plumb last anyway. Quinton over the line, does not improve his lap time and stays third fastest. Just look to see if there's anyone else on the fast lap. There isn't. So Vengeance will start the Russian Grand Prix from pole position with Jace in second place, with Quinton third, Seffi fourth, Adzok fifth. Then he's got Rishi, John, Luke, Swan and Smith running at your top 10. Now, 2 of the top 3 in the championship will be starting outside the top 17. So Kilmore is 18th and Fletch in 20th. Aaron, who's 4th in the championship, will be 17th on the grid. So we're going to see quite a lot of overtaking, I would imagine, around Sochi. Here's a track for overtaking. There are 2 DRS zones. One on the pit straight on the run down to the first braking zone of turn 2, and the other on the back straight through the kinks of 11 and 12 before the braking zone of turn 13. But it's Vengeance who will take his 8th pole of the season and extends his lead in the championship by a further point to go with it. So here's your grid. Vengeance on pole ahead of Jason second. Next Quinton and Sefi on the second row. Adds up and Rishi make up the third row. John and Luke on row 4, followed by Squan and Smith. King and Kengar are on the 6th row, followed by Havina and ZHR. Vintage and Chromad are on row 8, followed by Aaron and Kilmore on the 9th row, with Kermit and Fletch on the back row. Fletch has been given a 5-place grid drop, but he does not get demoted in any positions because he's starting from last. That was qualifying. We go on to the 13-lap race. We'll be back very shortly. Here we go then for the race. The formation up is about to begin, and we'll find out who is starting on what. Now the top 10 have to start the race on the same set of tyres as they set their fastest lap time, or the same compound. And as you can see, the top 10 are all starting on the softs. Those outside the top 10 are starting on the mediums. I think Vengeance just wants to get on with this very, very quickly, but he is going to be waiting on the grid for quite some time. So who will lead into the first braking zone of turn 2? Sochi John hosted its first Formula 1 race in 2014, coinciding with the area hosting the Winter Olympics that same year, and it's hosted the Russian Grand Prix ever since. Next year, though, will be the last time Formula 1 will be racing at the Sochi Autodrome before they move over to the Agora Drive Raceway, which is around 70 kilometres away from St. Petersburg. Should be a fun track, that, as well. So Mercedes, of course, in real-life Formula 1 have won 8 out of 8 races on this track. They haven't always been on pole position, though. I'm just seeing a few drivers leaving the session. I'm not exactly sure what's happening here. Ah, here we go. Yeah, I've just been informed, or somewhat informed, that a lot of the drivers have left the lobby. So we're going to go over to that lobby now. Hopefully, we won't need to leave the broadcast. Hopefully the race hasn't already started yet. I think I know why. Because, I was going to say, because two drivers have retired already. Havina and King have crashed out. And the safety car has been deployed. So we've lost both of those drivers. Unfortunately, we missed that. But either way, both of those two will not be going any further in this Grand Prix. And Vengeance leads from Quinton and Rishi. Sethi fourth, ahead of Adsup and Jace. Luke Rochford and John are next, ahead of Swan and Smith. So that's your top 10 so far. Two drivers with penalties so far. They are John and Swan. Just look and see what those penalties are. 5 seconds it is. So I wonder if they'll be able to take those in the pit stops. Now, this is good news for the soft compound runners because we've been only a 13-lap race and a track that doesn't take its toll on tyres as much as other circuits. The leaders can afford to just duck into the pits and get a set of the mediums on and go to the end of the race. So Havina, who is one of those being called in as a reserve, it's not going any further in this one, which is a huge shame for him. It'd been interesting to have seen how far he would have got up the field with where he started. And so the leaders are coming in, but Rishi decides to stay out. So Rishi thinks that retaining track position is the way to go round here. And how many of the soft compound runners, I'll say how many of the medium compound runners are going to be ducking into the pits for tyres? Well, Cromud's gone in too quickly there, so that's a 5-second penalty for him. The Mercedes crew are having to stack their drivers. So it's getting very busy down there now. So Rishi leads behind the safety car with Adsup second, and it's Jace in third place. Just looking to see whose cars are controlled by the AI at the moment. Can't see one at the moment. Cromad has been given a time penalty, so I wonder if he may decide to pit in and just take that 5 seconds, providing he does not speed in the pit lane again. So the only drivers that didn't pit are those currently in the top 9, including Fletch and Aaron. So Rishi will be hoping that the safety car goes in at the end of this lap and start pulling out some form of margin. He might be thinking that if the safety car was to be deployed again, that is when he decides to pit in. Rishi decides to remain out there, but Luke decides that it's time to pit in for tyres. Now he's going to fall to the back of the field by the time he does rejoin. There's Cromad in 16th place. So here's Luke rejoining in 18th place now, with a lot of work to do from here. So Rishi leads behind the safety car with the two McLarens of Adds Up and Jace in second and third. Vintage is fourth ahead of Kenga, Kermit, Fletch, Aaron and Vengeance. Vengeance is the highest of those who have pitted. So he's very much in play of taking the race victory. And the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. Race control have confirmed. So Rishi will allow the safety car to pull off. And the race will get back on again. Rishi needs a good restart here. So the safety car is in, which means Rishi will be able to pull away now, which he does so, and he's caught the field napping. So Rishi leads with 10 laps to go. And there's Vengeance, who is now ahead of Quinton. Well, he's ahead of Quinton at the moment, as Fletch ducks into the pits. I don't know why he didn't do that sooner, if I'm honest with you, probably to stretch out the stint a little bit before he switched to the stock compound tyres, but he's got a lot of work to do from there now. So Vengeance to the outside he goes, on the Red Bull of Aaron, doesn't go for it from there. You can see ZHR behind Chromad in the battle for 14th place. And John's in the pits and out. So John not going any further. Not sure what's happened to him. So Rishi still leads with Adds Up second as Kermit passes Aaron for 6th place. Aaron was trying to get ahead of him there, and Vengeance looking to get through. Always make contact! No, did he get hit from behind by the Alpha tyre? I think he might have done, actually. I think Quinton's front wing is damaged. Yes, it is. Right hand side of his front wing's damaged, so Quinton's going to have to duck into the pits and get that nose cone changed. Comore's left the session, so he's obviously disconnected somewhere. And Quinton goes in too quickly and gets a 5-second penalty for speeding. As Rishi continues to lead, and we've got Adds Up in P2. And someone's got off in sector 1. Is that Vengeance? It is! The championship leader has spun round at turn 3. And he's fallen down to 15th place now behind Chromad. So Vengeance going backwards at the moment. So Vengeance continues to run wide there. And Kilmore is back in play now. So Rishi continues to lead. There's no DRS at the moment. There's Steffi and Kermit. Oh, Kermit's run into the back of Steffi. Brakes far too late there into turn 13. Running into the back of his teammate. And that'll be him going into the pits for sure. He'll suffer horrible understeer between now and the end of the race if he decides to stay out there. DRS has now been enabled, so we'll go back to the leaders because Adds Up is within DRS range to have a go on Rishi in front. Here he goes up to the outside. Jace may get his nose in front here as well in the back of the second place, but Rishi makes contact and has broken his front wing. What is it with drivers about braking when they're behind another car in front today? And Steffi's gone round as well in the Ferrari. It's all kicking off here in Sochi. So the two McLarens in first and second. Rear wing open on Jace. So it's McLaren 1-2 now, but both drivers have yet to come into the pits. And I would imagine that will do so at the end of this lap, at least one of them. So Adsop decides that he's coming in first. So Jace remains out there for another lap. Vintage also ducking into the pits. Vintage needs to make sure that he stays within the pit lane speed limit, which he does so. Rishi does. He needs a new front wing. So this will move Vengeance up a few positions, no doubt. He may move up another one with Sethi right in front of him, who will not have the DRS. And Vengeance will breeze past him easily and up into P7. So the highest of those who have pitted is Swan in the Haas in 4th place. Now Swan with 0 points to his name. He was a late entry, I believe, this season. He's looking good for with a high number of points from this race alone. Oh, and that's Kengar. Kengar, who was running second, has spun round, has ripped off his front wing, pushed too hard on the exit of turn 9. The car was ghosted, thankfully. And now one of the McLarens has gone off. That's Adsop, who's just been in the pits. He's ripped off his front wing on the exit of turn 7 this time. Sefi's just been overtaken by ZHR as well, so Sefi not going very well on the hard compound, it seems, as Jace comes into the pits. From the race lead, Aaron will take over the lead for now. He's got to pit in before this race is over, though. And now his Swan on the fresher tyres and with DRS should move in front of him here. Stays behind though. There's Vengeance on the inside of Luke into turn 2. Big contact there from Luke. Kilmore is in 9th at the moment. Jace rejoins in 10th place ahead of Vintage. Aaron leads Swan. So DRS open. And Swan will take over the race lead, no doubt, because Aaron just doesn't have the pace at the moment. So Swan into the race lead with just over 5 laps remaining. Smith trying to get through. Swan runs wide though at turn 14. That allows Aaron back through again. So Swan making a mistake at turn 14. Got out of shape. And that allowed Aaron to move back along the inside and through into first position. So Luke coming back at Vengeance here. Vengeance not having the best time of it all at the moment. Luke runs wide. Vengeance should get back through. He'll have DRS as well, so Luke is back. So Vengeance is back into 4th position as Aaron loses the lead again to Swan when they get to turn 2. So it's Aaron in second place, one runs wide. And it looks like Luke has fallen back. I don't know if he's hit the barrier or anything. Doesn't look as though his front wing's damaged after that. He's got Jace behind him as Luke runs wide, and that allows Jace through into ninth. And Swan, Smith has spun round. He was in the top three, but now he's fallen back. So ZHR gets past him. And Aaron finally pits in. And he'll be on the soft compound for the final 4 laps of this race. So Seffi gets past Smith. Cromad not too far behind either in the Aston Martin. Kilmar up to 7th. Oh, and Smith makes contact with the Ferrari, and Kermit's out of the race. He's crashed out at turn 14, and we've got a safety car. Now this will make the ending to the race very, very interesting. The leaders have already gone past the safety car, so they'll have to make sure they stick to the delta, because if anyone exceeds the delta, they will get a drive-through penalty, and that is their chance of points gone. Well, that is their chances of points gone, I should say. Kengo comes into the pits for another set of the soft compounds. So Adds Up can breathe a huge sigh of relief here, because now he can get back into play. And Luke's now being penalised for speeding. That is bad news for his race. That is his chance of points out of the window now, because you cannot take a drive-through penalty under the safety car. It can only be taken on the restart, so there's no way Luke will come back from this now. And even if he was to go to the end of the race without coming into the pits to take that drive-through, he would be demoted back down anyway. So who's coming into the pits then? Well, the race leader's most certainly not. Seffi decides to stay out there. So Vintage, does he go in? Well, Luke goes in. And Rishi. So Quinton into the pits. He has got that 5 seconds of which he needs to take, which he can do so under the safety car. There he comes. Softs go on. So he completes his stop and his penalty, and he'll rejoin in 14th place. So it's Jace in 8th place behind Kilmore. He's on the fresher tyres out of all those ahead of him, so he may have a chance on the restart. Luke gets a penalty for exceeding track limits, so his race is going from bad to worse now. The safety car will be going in at the end of this lap for a 2-lap shootout. So Swan will dictate the pace, and he'll go when he's ready to do so. There's Vengeance behind him. There's no DRS now for the remainder of this race because we've only got 2 laps left. So Swan heads over the line now and leads ahead of Vengeance. ERS being used at the moment. Can Vengeance get a move on? Swan here into turn 2. Here we go then. And Vengeance remains behind Swan for now. Luke takes his drive-through penalty. There's no way he'll come back from there now. Seffi gets past Smith. Oh, and that's one of the Alpines into the wall. That's Kilmore. Kilmore, who was running in the top 7, has fallen out of the points with that spin. Now Vengeance just needs to be very careful here. He doesn't want to risk everything here. He's on course for 18 championship points, as well as the one he picked up for pole position. And Jace is now ahead of Chromad. So Jace is up to 6th. Chromad with that time penalty is going to see him drop back. I don't know why he didn't pit in to take that drive-through. Not the drive-through, the 5-second penalty he picked up earlier on. And now he's about to lose the position to Vintage now. Chromad going back horribly here. He should have been in the pits under the safety car to take that penalty. He really should have been. And now the Red Bulls are going left and right of him. I wonder if Chromad may have damage actually somewhere. By the way, he's dropping back horribly, and that's the Mercedes into the wall. That's Smith. So another one falling into the, or crashing into the barrier, and that is his hopes of achieving a points finish gone out of the window. We're now on to the last lap of this race. Vengeance behind Swan adds up with the fastest lap at the moment, but he's outside the top 10, so he wouldn't get that point as it stands. But Vengeance is still behind Swan. Now can Vengeance find a way through and take the victory from him? Just 2 drivers at the moment with penalties, or 3 I should say, because Luke Vochvi's got a 3-second penalty, as has Kengott and Chromad. Onto the back straight for the last time then. Will Vengeance go for it? They've got a similar amount of ERS left, so this is going to be the overtake place, I think, for Vengeance to get the move done. Doesn't quite go for it. Takes a slightly different line to what Swan is using at the moment. Can he get him on the inside here into turn 15? Vengeance thought about going for it. Swan runs wide. Vengeance may get the switch back here. He's got a better exit. Here we go then, side by side, as they come towards the penultimate corner, turn 17. Has Vengeance done it? Yes, he has! Vengeance takes the lead with 1 corner remaining. And he's going to win the Russian Grand Prix for Williams. Vengeance wins ahead of Swan. What a brilliant finale to the race that was. Chase is going to finish on the podium, I think. No, he's not. It's Seffi who goes to the podium for Ferrari. And Aaron takes 4th for Red Bull. Vintage is 5th. ZHR, well, I'd say Fletcher's 6th. ZHR 7th. Quinton 8th. Richie 9th. And Jace has fallen down to 10th place. I think he picked up a penalty on that last lap, hence why he drops back. Chromad with his time penalty has dropped into 11th. Adds up his 12th. Kengol 13th. Kilmore 14th. And it'll be Smith and Luke running out the finishes. But it's Vengeance who wins yet again in the division sprints in the Pro and Formula racing. And that's a huge, giant step towards the title. What a finish to the race that was. Hard feelings to Swan there. He must have felt like victory was his, but it just wasn't to be. But there's Vengeance celebrating his 6th win of the season. And a very important one as well. So here's your race result. Vengeance wins ahead of Swan. And then it's Sethi on the podium for Ferrari on debut. Very well done to him. Aaron 4th, had a Vintage and Fletch from 20th to 6th. ZHR is 7th, Quinton 8th, Rishi 9th, and Jace picking up the last point in 10th. Chromad was 11th, adds up in 12th. He got the fast lap, but doesn't get a point for it. Kengol 13th, Kilmore in 14th, Smith 15th, and Rochford the last of finishers in 16th place. Kermit, John, Pavina, and King all retired from the race. We're going to go to the lounge now to interview some drivers, so do bear with us one moment, and we'll be speaking to those after a very intense finale to the race. What a race it was as well. So just bear with us one moment, and we'll speak to them very, very shortly. So at the end of what's been an unbelievable ending to that race, it has to be said, especially that two-lap shootout. Let's speak to some of our drivers at the end of that one. Let's speak to Aaron, who finished 4th today, podium last week, 4th place finish today. That gives you a good haul of points in the battle for 2nd place in the championship. there was there was so much happening because there was drivers spinning around all over the place, drivers tapping the back of other drivers, breaking the front wings in the process. I mean, is that down to a lack of, what's the word I'm after? Is it some signs of rustiness going on at the moment? Mm-hmm. I mean, the next round of the championship is not for a couple of weeks. Just looking at the calendar for the next round, which will be in Singapore, that's most certainly going to be a more challenging circuit to do well on. What are your hopes on that? Finish. That's a decent answer. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, that fourth place finishes put you on to 79 points, which puts you 900 for third place man Kilmore, who failed to score today. Well, thank you very much, Aaron. We'll go to Quinton, actually, another one of the reserve drivers, another reserve appearance. It was quite you got another good points finish out there. I mean, you were at the back or towards the back after the final safety car period, and you sort of blasted your way through the field to finish in a fine 8th position to scrape some points out of there. Hmm. Yeah, and it was quite an intense finale to it because drivers were on fresher tyres than others, particularly those towards the back were on fresher tyres. So it was just a matter of just keeping your nose out of trouble. Really, there were drivers spinning around all over the place, not just like in the last 2 laps, but throughout the whole of that. Um, Next round in Singapore, what are your hopes on it? Is that one of your favourites or one of your least favourites? Mhm. Well, thank you very much, Quinton. That points of today puts you on 56, so that remains you ahead of all those on the reserve driver list in the standings. Very well done today. We'll go. We'll speak to. We'll ask. What we'll speak to one more person. We'll speak to Luke, who had a golden opportunity to get some good points out of there, but then a late drive-through penalty for exceeding the delta under the last safety car cost you a potential points finish, which is a huge shame. But a decent race all round. But it was just a shame with the drive-through penalty towards the end. Yeah, I'm sure you will do. I mean, Singapore is one of those lottery events where you just do not know, and if drivers tend to struggle, or even if it's like a wet race or something there, that's almost an equaliser for the whole field going forward. The coming races we've got between now and the end of the season, we've got Singapore, and then either Japan or China for round 12, and then Mexico, and then we've got Brazil for round 14 on the 25th of November. And then the penultimate round will either be in Australia, Azerbaijan, or Saudi Arabia. And then the season finale will be in Abu Dhabi. Which tracks do you hope to do? Well, I say which tracks do you hope to do well. Which tracks are you most looking forward to? I was going to say, with the release of Imola by Codemasters this week, have you had a go on the circuit yet? If the PIFR asked me if I wanted Imola on this year's calendar, I would vote yes, because I think it's a driver's favourite and it's a fan's favourite as well, including mine. Anyway, thank you, Luke. Hard luck on the results today, but I'm sure you'll bounce back next time out in Singapore. We'll leave it there, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on the broadcast for round 10 of the PFR sprints, or division sprints, I should say, with Vengeance's win and Fletch finishing in 6th place. The gap at the top has increased by 18 points, so Vengeance has right now an 83-point lead over the rest of the field, which is more than 3 rounds of points in that sense. So he's looking very, very good for him to seal the championship with time to spare. Thank you for joining us. Do make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and we can't wait to do it again in 2 weeks' time. Yes, there's no round next week. It's the week after in Singapore, so do make sure you tune in for then. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the PAFR returns.